Okay. Okay, this is the initiative to be familiar with the nature. So we will start with bird watching and recording. As I told you, today we are discussing what is actually bird watching, what actually bird watching is, how to identify a bird. Clear? After today's meeting, most of you get a simple idea regarding identification of birds. Then you have to try. Clear? Then you have to try. Clear? Okay. So then at the end of the today's meeting, we will discuss how proper field records should be done, should be made. Okay. Bird watching and recording. So what actually bird watching is? Bird watching is also known as birding. Clear? Bird watching is also known as birding, which is the observation of birds. Clear? Either as a recreational activity or as a form of citizen science. Clear? Most people engage in bird watching as a recreational activity. Clear? So because this activity, this is one of the most popular hobbies in the world, because this gives us a huge relaxation to the mind as well. Clear? So and also this bird watching familiar us with the nature, so we can close to the nature through bird watching. Clear? Therefore, that's why most people engage in bird watching. Most of them do bird watching as a recreational activity, as a hobby. Clear? For their mental relaxation and also to be familiar with the nature. Clear? Okay. So here a bird watcher may observe by using their naked eye. We can observe naked eye because birds are everywhere. Birds are everywhere. Therefore, we can observe them through our naked eye. Then, if we know how to identify, then we can identify this. Clear? Or else we can use some visual enhancement devices like binoculars, telescopes. Clear? In addition to that, to identify birds, we can listen to their sounds. Okay, we can listen bird sounds. It is also one strategy to identify birds. Sometimes birds are found in some hiding places. They mimic the environment sometimes, so we can't observe them clearly sometimes. Then we can use their sounds to identify their presence or to identify the birds. Clear? Okay, so this is a very interesting hobby actually. Okay, so this is okay. Then here, why you should become a bird watcher? There are reasons to be a bird watcher, because bird watching, as I told you, bird watching gives us so many advantages. Clear? So therefore, there are so many thousands of reasons to be a bird watcher. So I summarize some of the reasons. Clear? So which led us to be a bird watcher. Clear? So first we can say birds get us outside. That means to watch birds, we have to move, we have to come outside of our home. Then that means we are coming to the environment, we are coming to the nature. That's why I told you bird watching keep the human close to the environment. Okay, we can be familiar with the nature, we can be familiar with the environment. So we have to move outside. Then also here, birds are all around us. Okay? In any part of the world, in most of part of the world actually, in most parts of the world, we can observe birds. Clear? So got that? So if you have really interest, when you see a bird, when you identify it, so actually it's a pleasure. Clear? Okay, then birds can be enjoyed year-round. Clear? That not like some other hobbies. Birds have year-round activity. Clear? In countries like us, mainly in tropical countries, year-round activity of birds can be observed. Sometimes in temperate countries, some of the birds hibernate, some of the birds do not active during the winter season, but even in the winter, some birds are active. Okay, therefore, even in temperate countries, we can observe year-round activity in some birds. But in countries like Sri Lanka or in tropical countries, there is a year-round activity of birds. Got that? Okay. Then it often leads to many other interests. Okay, that means when you start with bird watching, sometimes you may end with photography. Sometimes you may end with environment conservation. Sometimes you may end as a researcher. Clear? So you may carry out different research in environment. So then So that's why it is said bird watching leads us to many other interests. Okay, some of the good bird watchers are actual photographers as well, are real nice photographers. Okay, so some of them are actually artists. Okay, so that means sometimes you may start do paintings by looking on the birds. So it's another hobby, because this leads us to different other interests. It is also another reason to be a bird watcher. And also you can gain new friends. Okay, when you are a bird watcher, you will meet when you go. Then not only you, I ask you to start bird watching in your home garden, but so in future you may go, you may visit different forests, you may visit different natural habitats to do bird watching. Then you may make new friends. Okay, this is also important. And as I told you, it's a connection with nature. We directly connect with the nature when you do bird watching. Clear? Got that? Okay, then it provides mental relaxation and also satisfaction. Clear? When if those who had engaged in bird watching during past few weeks, I think you have get that relaxation. You have that relaxation, I think. Clear? So it provides good mental relaxation and also satisfaction. Then also bird watching changes your life. So if you are a bird watcher, you may observe in yourself different changes will happen in yourselves. You will be more skillful person. Your patience will be developed. Your love to other animals and to the other humans. A society will be developed. Your thinking capacity will be developed. Clear? Your behavior will be developed, will be changed. Clear? So therefore, so many changes in your life can be observed as a bird watcher. If you do bird watching. Clear? So it is also another reason to be a bird watcher. And also it promotes finally habitat conservation or ecosystem conservation or nature conservation, which is the most important thing. Clear? Bird watching finally end with nature conservation or environment conservation. Why? Because to observe birds, we have to protect that particular environment or the ecosystem or the habitat. Clear? Because bird watcher know that to watch these birds here, this habitat should be there. So therefore, he or she will be automatically become a good conservationist. Clear? So I think now you can understand further why I asked you to start bird watching. So actually this will be helpful to your A-level journey as well. As a hobby, you can develop this. Ultimately, you will end with different interest, as I told you. Clear? There are so many other reasons. We can say different other reasons to be a bird watcher. Clear? These are some of them. Okay, now we will see how to identify birds. Clear? So today in the first part, here we will discuss identification of birds. So I think this will help all of you, or this will help. So among yourself now, there may be students, there may be some students who have actively engaged in bird watching. They may have good knowledge or sound knowledge regarding bird watching as well. Clear? But there may be new students, or there may be new bird watchers. There may be new bird watchers. There may be new ones to this subject. Therefore, today I will give a brief idea regarding identification of birds. That means how when you go outside and when you see a bird, how to identify it. So which feature should be observed? Okay, so that means how you should do bird watching. Okay, so such an idea will be given today in today's lesson, not a lesson, in the discussion actually. Clear? Okay, so here we can say bird watching involves 4 basic steps. Those are: first is identification. Then second is recording. Identification is not only enough actually, recording is a must. Then reporting. Clear? So then sometimes we can make reports, sometimes in scientific journals. Clear? Sometimes in among public, in the society, or sometimes in different organizations we can do reporting. And finally dissemination, is that spreading the ideas. among ourselves, within the scientific community, we can spread the ideas. Clear? Therefore, remember, bird watching involves 4 steps: identification, recording, reporting, and dissemination. Okay, so first today we are discussing about identification and making records in the field actually. Okay, we will simply discuss how to identify birds and how to make field records actually. Clear? Okay. So first we are moving to identification of birds. To identify the bird, to identify any bird, first you should be familiar with the body parts of a bird. So there's an importance of being familiar with the body parts. So what's the importance of familiarizing with the body parts of a bird? Okay, so here I can give you some reasons. So there are a variety of body parts in different species. Okay, so it is a key for identification. Actually, identifying the body parts properly, identify the nature of body parts, or identifying the variety of body parts among birds is the key for identification of birds. And also which will help us to distinguish birds based on the variation in their body parts. That means based on their morphology, we can distinguish birds. That's the key in identification. Clear? More importantly, some common names of birds has given according to their body features. Clear? Some common names of birds have given according to their body features. Got that? So here we will go through some examples as well. Then you will understand what it is said. Okay, therefore, to be a bird watcher, first you should have at least you should have simple idea regarding the body parts. At least if you are familiar with main body parts of a bird, then some of the common birds, some of the names of the common birds can be easily memorized because they are derived with the body parts of the organisms, body parts of the bird. Clear? Okay, so we will try. So here this diagram actually represents some of the major body parts. This is not a complete diagram actually. This represents some major body parts which will be helpful to identify birds. So here if we start some major body parts, you can observe in this head region. Here this is a beak. Anyone, all of you know that it has 2 mandibles actually. So this is the upper mandible and lower mandible. Okay. So this is the head region or known as the crown. Okay, this is the head region known as the crown. Behind that neck region, it has a nape. This region is known as nape. So you can observe these names: crown, nape, this back. Those are commonly used words. Throat, okay, and also this belly, or also known as belly. Then here, this region is known as the vent or undertail coverts or vent. Okay, these are the sides, or this is the breast. Clear? And also rump, this is rump. So no need to memorize this. Here try. So I will give you this presentation as well at the end. Then don't try to make sketches. You can search these diagrams in internet as well. So anyhow, this crown, nape, back, throat, breast, belly, and also this region is the vent or undertail coverts. Then the rump. Okay, those are this back. Those are mainly important. You will see most of the body parts, most of the common names of the birds have variation of these main body parts. Okay, then here if you consider the head specifically, so some other features can be observed. Okay, some other features. Then for an example here, eyebrow. So some birds have different eyebrows. So there are different morphologies in eyebrows. Eyeline or eyelines are different. So nape is different. Here some of the birds have eye rings. For an example, Sri Lankan white eye. There's a bird, endemic bird called Sri Lankan white eye. It has a white ring around its eye. There are some special markings like that as well. Clear? So here we say this is the upper mandible, lower mandible. So then this is the chin region, throat. Clear? So then these are also important. Eyebrow, eyeline, nape. Clear? Those are also important. These are some major body parts which are commonly found with the names of the birds. Clear? Okay. Then here further, if you consider superior weave or dorsal weave of a bird, so here you can observe in this picture the wing has expanded. Expanded wing can be observed. So you can observe some major feathers that involve in flying. That means these primaries. Primaries are the major feathers that involve in flying. Here, in addition to that, secondaries are also important. Okay, so this also represents some major body parts. Here you can observe rump clearly. Rump, this is the back region, and the nape, breast, throat, clear, chin, crown, clear. Those are some major body parts. Then this is the belly. Got that? So you will see. So when you are actually engaged in bird watching, you will see that most of the common names have these common body parts. Clear? Okay. Then here I told you that some common names of birds are given according to their body features. So I put some common birds here. I put some pictures of common birds. I think all of you are familiar with these. All of you are familiar with these birds. Okay. So can you tell me who are these? So here you can unmute your audio. You can unmute your audio as well. Okay, you can unmute your audio, or you can type here as in the normal class. So it's not necessary to type here. You can unmute your audio and you can answer. Here, as I told you, this would be a discussion. Okay, so now tell me, those who are familiar with this, who is this bird at your left upper corner? Here, most of you said it as a kingfisher. You can unmute your audio as well. Most of you say it as a kingfisher. But if we state here, Rana Sadiq said the correct common name. So this is actually white-throated kingfisher. Okay, it is kingfisher. This is actually white-throated kingfisher. That's a common English name. Okay, so that's why I told you some common names of birds are given according to their body features. Here you can observe this throat region is white. That's why this is known as white-throated kingfisher. Okay, so if you go to the picture that I sent at the first slide here, who is this? This is also kingfisher. Now you can observe when you say just kingfisher, it will be a confusion. There are different kingfishers in Sri Lanka as well. So who is this kingfisher? There's kingfisher called pied kingfisher. Clear? Got that? So then, and also white-throated kingfisher. Clear? Blue-eared kingfisher. Likewise, there are so many different kingfishers. So who is this one? Do you know this kingfisher? No. This is actually not a term using the body colors. This is common kingfisher. So then the common name is not related to body colors actually. This is a common kingfisher. Not always, but sometimes, as I told you, some of the common names have the variation in body parts. Okay. So then below kingfisher, all of you, I think, familiar with this bird. These are common garden birds that I ask you to observe. This is white-throated kingfisher. Now, from now onwards, you can use correct names. This is the white-throated kingfisher. Then here, who is this at your left bottom corner? Yes, Sinhalen Kahakurulla. It's true, but in English name. So yes, oriole. It's oriole. So if we say using the body parts, some of you said that it is black-headed oriole, or it is known as black-hooded oriole. Yes, good. Black-hooded oriole or black-headed oriole. Clear? These are orioles, Kahakurulla, and black-headed oriole. Okay. Then here, this one, I think you can see here. This one at the top, not a sparrow. It's not a sparrow. Who is that? Chintani said it as yellow-eared bulbul. Not yellow-eared bulbul is not that one. Who is in the middle here? This one, just right to the white-throated kingfisher. Here, this is a bulbul actually. Bulbuls means kondeya kiyala kiyane Sinhalen konda kurullo. Bulbuls are konda kurullo Sinhalen. So this is, you can observe here, its eyebrow is white. Here this bulbul has a white eyebrow. So therefore this is known as white browed bulbul. White browed bulbul. Clear? Bulbuls are kondakurulu. Clear? So this one is a yellow-eared bulbul. Here, this is a yellow-eared bulbul. You can observe here ear region. Clear? Ear line or ear region is yellow. That means yellow-eared bulbul. Okay. Then here below the white-browed bulbul, there's a pair. Are you familiar with these two birds? Not a magpie. Magpies means not magpies. This is a very small bird, even though the picture is much bigger. Who is this in the middle? It's pair. So in English, it is known as white-rumped munia. Not yes, kind of features white-rumped munia. Clear? White-rumped munia. අපි සිංහලෙන් වී කුරුල්ලෝ කියලා කියන්නේ. වී කුරුල්ලෝ වගේ අන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ වී කුරුල්ලෝ. හරිනේ? white-rumped munia. Rumped. So I wanted to emphasize that body parts are used. Clear? Body parts, the variation of body parts are used in giving common names. Here, since this kingfisher has a white throat, it is known as white-throated kingfisher. Since the head of the oriole is black, a black-headed oriole. Here, since due to the presence of white eyebrow, this is known as white-browed bulbul. Here, due to the presence of yellow color ear, yellow-eared bulbul. So then here, this is, we said this region is the rump. Clear? This region is rump. This region is rump, so it is white. Therefore, it is known as white rump munia. Clear? Okay, then here what? Who is this? How the name? At your right bottom corner? Yes, that is red-vented bulbul. That is red-vented bulbul. Red vent. Here you can observe the vent region is red color. Clear? Vent region is Sinhalin kondakurulla. Yaar tama Sinhalin api commonly kondakurulla kiyala kiyane. It is red-vented bulbul. Clear? Okay. So you can use Sinhala names or English names. It doesn't matter. But try to understand, try to memorize English names as well. Then the next step is memorizing the scientific names. It is not necessary actually, but commonly, even at least common names are familiar. It is okay. Clear? Okay. I think now you have an idea that variations in body parts are used in giving names. That's why we said identifying body parts is very important. So we will further discuss about the use of body parts in giving names or identification of birds. Okay, so here we can discuss the most important anatomical parts in identification and their variety. So commonly used anatomical parts in identification of birds are size. That means when you are a bird watcher, when you observe a bird, actually the first thing that you should observe is the size. You should do a size comparison, and also you should be able to identify the size. Size is most important thing. Clear? Based on the size, we can sometimes we can identify some birds based on the sizes as well. Therefore, first thing we can observe size. Then next is the shape of the bird. Shape is important. Clear? Then common birds have common shapes. That means, for an example, more related species have common shapes. So if you consider bulbuls, they have a particular shape. They are totally different from kingfishers. Clear? Bulbuls have a common shape. It is totally different from kingfishers. Clear? Then also these are different from barbets. Barbets means we can kotoru kiyala. Kotorua, Sinhalin kotorua, English in barbets la. Barbets. Clear? Ogala halati polos kotorua kiyala kiyane ogala gewala brown-headed barbet. Kiyala oluwa muru paata ecche kenek inne brown-headed barbet. Clear? Polos kotorua. The barbets have a particular shape. Clear? So after identifying the size, when you observe the shape, then you can categorize the bird into a group. That's the second step. Clear? So then you can say, that should be a barbet, that should be a kingfisher, that should be an eagle, that should be a parrot. Clear? Got that? Likewise, you can say that should be a woodpecker. Clear? Likewise, then you can categorize in this identification. Clear? So ultimately, we will identify individual birds, but first, in identification, first we are looking at the size. Clear? Based on the size, we can get a comparison. Clear? Then as a second thing, we can observe the shape. So after observing the shapes, we can categorize them into groups actually. That's the second step. This should be a barbet likewise. Clear? Clear. And also the beak size can also be used, but beaks are not that much, beaks can't be clearly observed sometimes, but shape is very important. Shape of the bird is very important. There are common shapes. Then the variety of legs can be used if you can observe. Tails can be used sometimes. Then the wings, so flying patterns can be used. In addition to that, other special characteristics like rump, eyebrows, crest, belly, throat, clay wattle, breast, those can be used as some special characteristics. Some birds have specialties in these areas of the body. We said white rump punya, clear, yellow proud bulbul, clear, you can observe. Clear? Okay. Then here it is said crested drongo කියලා කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. දැන් අපි දන්න clear මොකක්ද? drongo කියලා කියන්නේ කවුඩෝ කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ. කවුඩා කියලා සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ drongosලා. ඒගොල්ලෝ සමහර ඉන්නවා crested drongo. Crested drongo. Some are crested. Some have a crested drongo. Clear? Okay, likewise. So then special markings are also used in identifying birds. Clear? So then as a first step, if you are new to bird watching, first try to identify size and common shapes. Then you will be able to categorize them into groups. Clear? As barbets, or as woodpeckers, or as parrots, or as kingfishers. Clear? Likewise, you can categorize them. Clear? Then there are several kingfishers, there are several barbets. Then you can observe, got that? After looking at the shape, you can categorize. Then you within the group, you have to use different features or distinguishable features to separate them. So that's the easiest way. Then you can use variety in their legs, so special body markings, the difference in their tails, wings. So that is the key. That is how the new bird watcher should practice this. Here, look at the shape and identify the shape. Look at the size and identify the shape. And also size of the beak can be used. Got that? Clear neither? Okay, so wattle means that here have you heard about red wattle lapwing? Red wattle lapwing. අපි කියන්නේ කිරලා කියලා සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ red wattle lapwing. Wattle is a part found above the beak. Clear? That means at the upper part of the beak, there's a region called wattle, red wattle lapwing. දැකලා තියෙනවද කුඹුරු වල ඔය වතුර ගාවල වල ඉන්නවා අර කෑස් ගා හැමතිස්සෙම මේ දුවන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ. When it lay eggs, it gives huge effort in protecting its eggs. Clear? Kirala. So normally it's not. Normally it is found at the ground level. So lapwings or single kiralu, they are not flying often. They're not flying. They are flying, but they do not roost on trees. Trees වල ගොඩක් roost කරන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය. Clear කියලා බිමමයි ඉන්නේ. රැටත් එහෙමයි. හරිනේ? wattle එක තියෙන්නේ hot 2D. Clear නේද? Okay. හරි බලන්න එහෙනම්. Then so first we said these features can be used. Then now first we will discuss about the size then. First we will discuss about the size. So as I told you, the first feature that we have to observe is the size in identification. So we can compare the size. Here how a new bird watcher should practice this. It's like this. Compare the size of unfamiliar bird. That means, let's say you are not aware about a bird that you observe, but you are familiar with some common birds in your home garden. Now you do bird watching at your home garden, then you can identify particular birds. That's the beginning of this journey. That's the beginning of bird watching. Every bird watcher start from his home garden. Clear? So because then you can get an idea, you can identify those birds. Then you can get a particular idea about the sizes. Clear? Then when you observe an unfamiliar bird, then we can think compared to the common birds that you know. Clear? Therefore, as the first thing, compare the size of unfamiliar bird with that of a common known species. Clear? So therefore, it is useful to get an idea of the sizes of common birds. Clear? So there you should have a particular idea about common birds. Clear? To have idea regarding birds, to do a comparison in size, you should have a particular idea about sizes of common birds. Clear? Also, reference bird sizes are important for comparison. Reference bird sizes are important for comparison. No need to memorize the values, but having a rough idea will be useful. So I think all of you have heard about Professor Sarath Wimbala Bandara Kotagama, one of the eminent scientists and leading conservationist, ornithologist and environmentalist in the country. Clear? Professor Kotagama in 1986 has proposed two reference sizes of birds, one for the forest birds and other for the wetland birds. So here then as an example, look at this picture. So here this white color bird is an egret. Clear? It's an egret. Api kokku kiyala kiyanne sinhalen egret kenek. So those are common. Now if you have an idea about the egret, so even though you observe this pair at far distance, okay, then you can get a size comparison. So because you know about an egret, then you can say that here you can see how much large the other bird is. Okay, actually this is the purple heron. This is a heron called purple heron. So it is much larger than an egret. Clear? Got that? Okay. So that's the first step in identification of birds. Then second step, as I told you, here these are the two proposed references regarding the size of birds, one for forest birds and other for wetland birds. So here I took these pictures from the book called Illustrated Bird Guide from Professor Kotagama. From Professor Kotagama's book, I took these two pictures. So here this is the forest bird size comparison. You can observe the these small birds around 8 centimeters, pale-billed flower pecker. Flower peckers are very small. No need to memorize this. You will come across these names when you are familiar with birds in future. It will not happen within 1 or 2 days. Here you should have good experience in identifying all birds. It will take many years sometimes. It depends on yourself. Anyhow, just get an idea. This is pale-billed flower pecker around 8 centimeters. Then the next size, munias. Munias are around 10 centimeters. Then house sparrows are much larger than munias. The red-vented bulbul is much larger than sparrows, 20 centimeters. Then common myna is another size. Because these are common birds, then you can get an idea. Clear? The rock pigeon is larger than the normal pigeon. Rock pigeon is larger than the myna. Then large-billed crow is larger than the pigeon. Then serpent eagle is larger than the. Clear? So then at the adult mature serpent eagle and Sri Lankan jungle fowl is somewhat similar, have similar sizes. Jungle fowl is one of the endemic birds in the country. And finally here, peafowl, monera, it's much longer. So likewise, for wetland birds also there is a size comparison. For wetland birds also size comparison. I think you are not familiar with these stints and plovers. But here, if you look at the bottom row, you can observe little egret. Little egrets. Then intermediate egret, much larger than the little egret. We can observe. And also there's large egrets as well, larger than this. Then herons are much larger than the egrets. Clear? Then adjutants are much larger than the herons. Then storks. This is a black-necked stork, so which is much taller bird. So that is actually the tallest bird in our country is black-necked stork, tallest bird in our country. That means naturally found tallest bird. Clear? So we do not have tall birds like ostrich naturally. Clear? Therefore, naturally found tallest birds is black-necked stork in our country. Clear? Okay. So likewise, having a size comparison is very important. So if you have a size, if you have a rough idea regarding size, even though you observe these birds far away from yourself, you can get an idea. That's the first step. Clear? Otherwise, you will get confused. Clear? That's first step in identification. Okay. Then we said shape and size of beak. Actually, shape of the bird and shape and size of the beak are two different things. Here, this picture discuss about the shape of the beak, shape and size of the beak. So actually, shape and size of the beak depends on the food habit. It depends on the food habit. Clear? So it has a huge variety, great variety. We can use the shapes and size of the beak in identification as well. But when you clearly observe it, yes, you can observe these are some uncommon shapes of beaks. Some birds identified by their beaks clearly. So these are some uncommon beaks you can observe at the beak, at the upper. Here these pictures represent some uncommon beaks. So those will be very helpful in clearly identifying. Clear? So here this painted stork. Clear? Then this is a pelican, spot-billed pelican, uncommon beak with a pouch. Clear? Then flamingos have a somewhat curved, comparatively long beak. Then here ibis, very clearly, very distinguishably, ibis can be identified due to its long, narrow, tapering beak. Here, black-headed ibis. Then open bills. Here you can observe bill is open. This is an Asian open bill. Then spoon bills have a spoon-shaped beak. Clear? Hornbills they have a beak like a horn. Clear? So likewise, so some uncommon shapes can be be very useful in identification. Otherwise, the beak shape depends on the food habit. For an example, if you consider seed-eating seed-eating birds commonly have conical shape. They are roughly conical shape beak. For an example, we observe munias in the previous slides. Munias have here. Look at this. Here, this is a common beak shape for seed eating. Munias. And here, this kind of pointed beak is commonly found in insect eaters. The insect eaters commonly have this type of pointed beaks. Flycatchers, then bulbuls. Clear? So then some predatory birds like fish that eat on fish and some other invertebrates have this kind of long beaks like kingfishers. So likewise, you can observe there is a huge variation in beak shapes. That means here this parakeets, they are also nut eaters and also they eat fruits. They have a very pointed beak. Then woodpeckers, sinhala අපි කියන්නේ කෑරල්ලු කියලා. හරිනේ කොට්ටෝරුවන්ට කියන්නේ බාබර්ස්ලා පටලව ගන්න එපා. බාබර්ස් ආද කොට්ටෝරුවෝ. woodpeckers කියලා කියන්නේ කෑරල්ලු සිංහලෙන්. කෑරලා. හරිනේ. මෙයාටතර very strong beak is present. Pointed strong beak is present. Likewise, so if you consider predator like a raptor, eagles, then hawks, then the kites, they have this kind of sharp pointed beaks. Got that? So likewise, I think you have an idea. The shape of the beak vary depending on the food habit. Then variety in legs can be used to a certain extent, but not that much. So basically, as I told you, size and shape are important. Clear? After after categorizing the bird using size and shape into a group, then using special markings, using the variety in body colors, variety in body shapes, clear, using variety in body parts, we can easily distinguish them within the group. That should practice by the beginner. Clear? Remember. Okay, but here we will discuss these things as well. Variety in legs do not show much diversity, but their length, color, structure can use in identification. So this is a bird. This is a leg of a bird. You can observe there are actually 4 digits. Clear? 4 digits or 4 fingers. That means 4 digits are present commonly. So then their 5th digit is not developed. It can't be observed outside. We can say these birds have pentadactyl limb structure. Pentadactyl, that means Actually, penta means 5, dactyl means fingers. So 5-finger structure can be observed in these birds, but all 5 fingers can't be observed outside. So one is reduced. Clear? Only four digits can be observed like this. This is a common leg. Then here you can observe there is a variation in their legs based on the habit actually. So normally the passerine birds have this common type of leg. Clear? So passerine birds and also some of the perching birds. Perch cannot like in the, if you consider most of the perching birds, perching means they perch on a branch of a tree. So then their fingers are located like this. They have 4 fingers, 4 digits. So 3 fingers will be projected forward and 1 will be found backwards. So like this, they perch like this. කරන කියන්නේ මෙහෙම ගත්තොත් මේ fingers තුනක් මෙහෙම තියාගන්නවා අනිත් එකෙන් මෙහෙම අනිත් finger එක පිටිපස්සට. They perch like that. Okay, some passerines also have such legs. But if you consider woodpecker, you can observe woodpecker has 2 fingers forward and 2 fingers backwards. Clear? Why? Because woodpecker climb on trees. Clear? In climbing, these 2 digits oriented towards backwards provide them a support in climbing. Clear? So likewise, there's a variation here. Look at this. You can observe woodpeckers have this kind of woodpeckers, cuckoos, and also parrots. Here they can climb on trees. They hang using their they hang on barks using their legs, using their claws. Therefore, they have 2 digits extend forwards and 2 other digits extend backwards. Clear? Okay. Then some most predators have kingfishers. Predators like kingfishers have this kind of legs. Then the if you consider wading birds, some aquatic birds, diving birds have webs. Web feet is present. That means web is present. Web-like structure made up of skin is present in between their digits, ducts. Clear? Then the mainly have these kind of legs. Clear? Then pelicans have this kind of web feet. So likewise, so then if you consider bird of prey here, eagles, hawks, then the kites, they have this kind of leg. So likewise, there's a variation in their leg pattern as well. Okay. Then this can be useful. Then tails. Here, based on the shape of the tails also, we can identify sometimes. Okay, because you can observe there are special shapes in the tails. Tail will be helpful to identify. Sometimes here, for an example, a drongo. Here, drongo means monkey. For an common example, drongo can be kauda kila singa. A forked tail is present. This will be helpful to identify a drongo. Sometimes we can't observe the face or the body, but when you observe this tail, using the tail, you can identify it. Okay? So there's another drongo called here racket tail drongo. Racket tail drongo has this kind of unique tail. So tail is also useful there. Clear? Okay, then another feature, wings. Clear? Wings. So vary among birds. Then size and shape and size of wings depends on the nature of the flight. Clear? So sometimes the flight patterns. Clear? Flight patterns can be useful. Flight patterns are useful in identification. So actually it is in the second step. First you should be able to identify the birds which are perched or which are found on a particular substrate. Then you can identify using their flight as well. Because there are different flight patterns. Okay, using flight patterns, we can identify birds. All birds do not fly in a same pattern. They have different flight patterns. We have to closely observe. When you do bird watching, observe their flight pattern. It will be helpful. Then after identifying a barbet, see how a barbet fly. Clear? It is different from the flight of a kingfisher or bulbul. Clear? That means pattern of using wings is different. Clear? Got that? You can observe those. So be focused, be concentrate on those flight patterns. Then it will be helpful to identify it as a barbet, or it will be helpful to categorize a bird into a common group as a barbet or a kingfisher or a bulbul or a babbler. Babblers ලා කියලා කියන්නේ දෙමලිච්චෝ. පැහැදිලි නේද? හොඳට note කරන්න. Okay, then as I told you, there are some unique characters which can be used in identifying birds. So here first we can consider this Sri Lankan white eye. This is an endemic bird, Sri Lankan white eye. As I told you here, it has a white strip around the eye. Here you can observe. It is a unique marking in identification. Here likewise, here the rump, this little swift also has a white rump here. Clear? So likewise, different unique markings are useful in identification to distinguish them. Clear? So here, black-crested bulbul. Here the crest is black. This is a bulbul. Due to the black crest, it can be termed as black-crested bulbul. So special markings are also used in separating them. Clear? So with time you will be familiar. So no need to memorize all these pictures that I am showing. I am going to give you a brief idea. So you have to develop your skill through with the experience. If you do more bird watching, your skill will be developed. Clear? Every day or when you have leisure time, do this. Then your skill will be developed. Okay, likewise here, this picture also represents some special markings. And for an example here, if you consider that picture given at the right upper corner, here this is known as red-faced malkoha. This bird is red-faced malkoha. Due to this red color face region, it is known as red-faced malkoha. Here this one is a barbet. Clear? This yellow-fronted barbet. Front is a frontal bone, front is a yellow color. Therefore, yellow-fronted barbet. Clear? So here a darter can be easily identified using this serpent-like neck. Likewise, you will be familiar with different features when you engage in this bird watching. Clear? So I'm going to give you a brief idea. Okay. Now I think you have a very simple idea regarding bird watching. You should develop your skill through experience. I'm only giving you an initiative. So meanwhile, in future, sometimes we may do some field works. Clear? In particular areas. Then we will see. Sometimes we may do some field work as well. If those who are interested, those who do bird watching and conservation efforts continuously can join with us. Clear? So we can do some field works as well. That means we can visit different habitats and identify birds and identify other animals and animals and plants found there. So those are some future things. Clear? So as a hobby, but first we should start like this. Okay, then how to prepare? If you are a new bird watcher, if you are new to wildlife conservation, if you are new to visit wildlife or visit forest or natural ecosystems, how to prepare? How you should prepare? First, about the clothes. Okay, so wear comfortable clothes always, but without bright colors, because bright colors like very red colors, clear, or yellowish colors sometimes is a then red is a threatened color actually. Clear? So then you will be highlighted when you do bird watching. You should always try to hide in the environment. You should always try to hide in your surrounding. Then otherwise you can't become closer. You can't come closer to. You can't move closer to a bird. When birds see you, then it will escape. Sometimes some birds do not like particular colors like red. They are warning colors actually. Clear? They always try to escape from you. Clear? Therefore, always try to hide or camouflage in the environment when you in the field. When you are in the field. Therefore, do not wear bright colors. Clear? Like red. So always try to camouflage. It's advantageous. Okay, then we can move closer. Then also I told you that recording is very important. Therefore, use a field notebook. You should have a field notebook with that, with a pencil or a pen. Then also additionally, you can have a field guidebook in bird watching. Clear? Different field guides are there. So here there's an illustrated guide prepared by Professor Kotagama, and also there are some different field guides for bird identification like Harrison's Harrison's කියලා පොතක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මම ඔයගලන්ට තව එකක් ඕන නම් මෙතන පෙන්නන්නම්. මේ තියෙන්නේ so this is Sinhala book. මේ Sinhala book එකක් ඔයගලන් නිකන් primary දැනගන්න ඕන නම්. So this is also prepared by Sarath Kotagama, Professor Kotagamage book එකක්. මේකෙම තියෙනවා English version එක Illustrated Bird Guide of Sri Lanka කියලා. මේක ගන්න පුළුවන්. ගන්න ඕන නැහැ. It's not necessary to buy those, but there are some field guides like this. And also yeah, there is a common a famous field guide called Harrison's කියලා field guide එකක් තියෙනවා. Clear for bird watching. නැත්නම් Deepal Warkakodake තියෙනවා Birds of Sri Lanka, this one. Clear? So these are some common field guides which are commonly used. So not necessary to buy those. Clear? But if you have such a book, then it will be helpful. Clear? Okay. At this level, at your level, no need to buy, but normally bird watcher use field guide book in identification. Okay, and binocular can be used but not mandatory. We can observe through the naked eye as well, but to get a more closer look, you can use a binocular. No need to buy those. Don't ask your parents to bring me a binocular. Don't ask them like that. These are not mandatory. Okay, so anyhow, so after preparing yourself with the clothes, field notebook and field guide book, okay, additionally binocular, then you can go to the field to observe birds. Clear? So in the field, what's the most important thing? Patience. Patience is the most important thing. Need patience. Okay, so that means through bird watching, you can develop your patience as well. Okay, patience is very important. And also be silent in the field. So you should behave as a part of the nature there. Okay, as a part of that habitat. Be silent. Don't make distractions. Don't make noises. Okay, so do not disturb birds' behaviors. So carefully look at them, what they do. Carefully observe their behaviors, flying patterns, clear their behaviors. Then those behaviors are also helpful in identification. Got that? Clear? Okay, then after preparing now with this idea, with this knowledge, and after now imagine you are prepared yourself to go to the field. Then how to identify? As I told you, so first identify the size. Compare the size with the size of a familiar bird. Then observe their shapes. Clear? Whether they are slim, fat, or large. Here you can observe. As I told you, here different bird groups have different shapes. You can observe here. These are some birds belong to different groups. They have different shapes actually. Clear? So look at the shape. Then look at the other marking, shape of the bill, wings, feathers, tails, or whether there are any special characteristics, colors and special markings. Those can be observed and they should be recorded. Clear? Okay, then we can observe behavior as I told you. Different birds have their unique behaviors. Observe the flying patterns, walking patterns. As I told you, those are also important in identification. So when you are familiar with those, so it's easily, even without even without seeing their body colors, you can say, that is that bird. You can say that you get that skill, you get that ability with experience. Clear? Okay, then also listen to their calls and songs. Listen to their calls and songs. Finally, make field notes. Clear? Listen to their calls and songs. It will be helpful to identify them, even though you can't observe them. Clear? So then using those features, try to identify them. And also remember to make records. Make field notes is very important, because so you can't memorize all the features in your mind. When you go to the field, you will see hundreds of birds. You can't memorize all those things in your mind. Clear? So then best thing is to make field notes. So then even though you can't identify those in the field, so when you come home, or when you come to your research center or home, using the field guide and using your field notes, and with the help of the field guidebook, you can identify them as beginners. Clear? So in other words, making field notes is very important, because this is actually a science. So making scientific notes is very important. Clear? For to popularize science as well. Clear? You can share your knowledge. So sometimes a rare bird, sometimes you may record a rare bird. So if you do not have a field note, no one will, if you do not have a proof. So field note is a good proof for the presence of that bird. Clear? Sometimes there may be rare sighting. Rarely දැකපු කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. When you have a field note regarding that, it will be very useful in science. Clear? Okay. Got that? So then here, be familiar with the bird sounds as well. So start with the home garden. So I will say, I will play some bird sounds. Tell me, can you identify those? Clear? These are some of the sounds of, so then listen to the bird sounds and bird calls. Clear? So then the birds, they sing sometimes, they are calls. That means calls means they communicate, and also there are bird sounds. So very nice to see. Clear? Okay, so I will play some bird sounds. Tell me, who is that bird after playing this? Wait a second. You can listen. Okay, are you familiar with that bird? Who is that? Are you familiar with that bird sound? Who can tell that? So it is black-headed oriole. Kahakuruli. So when I say it, then now see whether you can identify it. Did you hear that? Can you hear that? Ahuna neither. Yes. Okay. So did you able to identify? Were you able to identify that? No. Okay, then now this one. Now tell me. Now I think you can identify. Who is that bird? Sinhalin කියන්න. එයාව දන්නේ නැද්ද? That means you haven't listened to the bird sounds. ඒ කවුද? කොහෙක් නෙමේ. කොහා කියලා කියන්නේ Indian quail. Indian quail කොහා මේ. මේ බලන්න. Here. Can't you identify? Clear? So, so it is අපි සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ කොහා කියලා Indian quail. Clear? So likewise, be familiar with the bird sounds. It is very useful in identification, and also it's very nice to hear. So, and also you will learn to concentrate on something. Clear? When you try to understand, when you try to identify those bird sounds. Clear? Listen to those bird sounds. Don't just hear them. Listen them. Okay? තව එකක් ප්ලේ කරන්න කියලාද කියන්නේ ඔහොම. තව කෙනෙක් දන්නේ කෙනෙක්. මෙන්න මෙයාව දන්නවා. ඔන්න බලන්න. Who is that? ඒ කවුද? නෑ. බ්‍රවුන් හෙඩඩ් කවුද? කොබෙයික් නෙමෙයි, මැග්පයි රොබින් කෙනෙකුත් නෙමෙයි. ඇටිකුකුලෙකුත් නෙමෙයි. ඒ කවුද? අර සිංහලෙන් පොලොස් කොට්ටුරෝ කියලා කියන්නේ බ්‍රවුන් හෙඩඩ් බාබට්. මේ බ්‍රවුන් හෙඩඩ් බාබට් අහලා ඇති මේ ෆැමිලිය ගොඩක් ඒ සවුන්ඩ් එක මම ආයි ප්ලේ කරන්න. මේ බ්‍රවුන් හෙඩඩ් barbet. අපි පොලොස් කොට්ටෝරුව කියලා කිව්වේ. brown headed barbet. Here. Then Aticocula කිව්වොත් Aticocula කියන්නේ common cockle. Common cockle Aticocula මේ බලන්න යාග වෙනස්. This is common cockle. It's different. I think you can see. You can hear. පැහැදිලි දැන් සමහරු කියලා කිව්වා තව කවුද? dove කෙනෙක් කියලා. spotted dove කියලා. Spotted dove is different. Here this is spotted dove. Not this one. Here it is spotted dove. It is spotted dove. Got that? So likewise, so bird sounds are different. Clear? Bird sounds are different. So try to identify. Then kobeya කියලා කිව්වේ කවුරු මේ dove කෙනෙක් නේ. kobeyo කියලා කියන්නේ doves ලා. ඒකයි මම එකව play කරලා පෙන්නන්නේ වෙනස්. So using if so they have different sounds, they have different calls. So being they can be useful in identification. Even in the within the single group, different species have different calls or different sounds. So clear? So remember, try to identify. Okay. Finally, we will discuss about the making field notes. So here, making field notes. I said this is very, very important. Making field notes is very, very important. So this is a sample page of a field notebook. Actually, this is one of the page of my course coordinator, Professor Nihal Dayavansa's field notebook. This is one of the page of my wildlife course coordinator in undergraduates, Professor Nihal Dayavansa. His notebook. මෙයාගේ notebook එකේ page එකක් බලන්න. Professor Nihal Dayavansa is a good is a eminent conservationist here in the country. So his notebook is like this. So you can make notebooks. Then here, what are them? We will discuss a little bit about that. So what should be included in the notebook? So maintain your own notebook. So it may be a small book like this. So on the first page, so if you are a conservationist or if you are a bird watcher or naturalist, so you should have a notebook normally. Normally naturalists use notebooks. So this is the blank one. So I just used on the first page, write your on the first page, not on the cover. Clear? On the first page, write your personal information, necessary personal information, because here name, the address, telephone number, sometimes national identity card number. Clear? So it may be useful. Clear? It is an old one because the date is 1999. Yes, it is a very old one. So I took this from Professor Nihal Dayavansa's field notebook. So I learned him from starting from 2005. But the page that was taken from a notebook he used for a long time. Normally, a conservationist or the bird watcher use a particular notebook for a long time. Clear? So notebooks are maintained; they are not discarded because those are the scientific records. Actually, in a conservationist or in a naturalist or a bird watcher, scientific records are their notebooks first. Data is on the notebook; they do not discard. Clear? So that's why here. So these are scientific records actually. Clear? So therefore, on the first page, write your name, personal information. Why we write personal information? Because sometimes in the field, let's say your notebook is lost. So another one, find it. So sometimes it may have useful data, because in a conservationist or in a naturalist or environmentalist, all data are found in the notebook. All data collected in the field are found in the notebook. So they are very useful in research as well. Clear? Clear? Manghana, do you also use a notebook for birds? Yes. So today, at present, I am not birding actually. So, but when I used birding, that means I did bird watching. Nowadays, I am not doing that actually actively, but I have field notebooks. When I go to field, so I am normally I go to field, I visit different I do different field visits. During past years, I couldn't go that much. Rarely I went to field, but earlier I went to field very much frequently. Then mostly during my last years, I mainly interested on fish actually. So, but we observe birds. So we make field reports. Our field reports maintain Kanmo. Clear? Okay, so that's why I asking you. So here write personal information, because if in case if your field notebook is lost and find someone, then he can deliver, because this is a scientific record. It is very important. It has your personal information, personal data. Clear? Okay, in the research. Therefore, on the first page, include your personal information, including the name, address, and at least telephone number. Then on the second page, you can make a content page. You can make a content page. Okay, leave some pages to make contents, because so when you enter information here, sometimes it be difficult to find. So it's better if you have a content page here to put page numbers. Okay, you can number your field notebook. Okay, you can put page numbers at the top or at the bottom. Clear? So it will be helpful to find data. Okay, after the research. Then after that, from the next page, you can do your notes. So here, when you do field notes, you can do it like this here. So normally, so here the page number is there, page number 8 here. So in Nihal Devan sir's book, the page number 8, this is the page number 8, and we put the date, which is important. Date is important in a record. Then we can write about the climate, because the behavior of the animal here. So then the environmental conditions change with the climate. So then when you do that recording, write about the surrounding climate at that moment. Clear? So here sir said that bright sunshine, moderate breeze is there. Then also write the location where you get the recording. Here Nihal sir has taken this recording in Boondala National Park. Clear? Specifically in Boondala Lagoon. So, and also time of recording should be important, because behavior of the animals, activity of the animals can change according to the time of the day. So it is important, because I told you that this is a scientific record. Then since you are in bird watching, you can make sketches like this. So you can observe these are not real or actual pictures or actual drawings. Make a sketch. Okay, when you see a bird, by looking at it, make a sketch. That's why you should have a brief idea about, so to make a sketch, you should have a brief idea about the body parts. Clear? So make a sketch roughly, and let's say you see an unfamiliar bird, you can't identify it directly. Okay, then make a sketch. Okay, as beginners, you should make sketches. Then you can write here, sir has written here, large eyes are there, bill short and straight, dark brown color, clear, whitish color belly, clear. So greenish yellow legs, clear. Okay, then brown upper parts or brown back color. So likewise, so then using your you do not use color pencils, therefore use a pencil. Normally we use pencil in make field notes, because if sometimes when we use pens, so since we are in the field, sometimes your notebook will be wet. If you exposed to rain, sometimes it may be wet. So but if you use a pencil, even after drying, notes will be there, they will not destroy. Clear? So therefore for the long term purpose, we use pencils now. Okay, using your pencil, make a sketch. Then you can bring this at home, and using the field guide, you can identify. Sometimes we do not carry field guides always to the field when there is rainy condition or something. Then, but we have the field notebook in our pocket. Clear? Okay, got that. So then make sketches and write a description here. So likewise, we found 3 meters away from the water edge on sandy substrate. Clear? So then the behavior can be written. May run, stop, pick, run, stop. That means දුවනවා ඊට පස්සේ නවතිනවා ඊට ස්පික් කරනවා මොකක් හරි කෑමක් අරගන්නවා ඊට පස්සේ ආයි පාරක් රන් කරනවා ආයි පාරක් නවතිනවා. So then there's a unique pattern in that behavior. That's why call, flight, like මේ flight එකේදී trilling like treat කියලා සද්දයක් එනවා. අය වගේ. Treat ඒ වගේ මොකක්ද ඔයගලන්ට ඇහෙන සද්දේ කියන්න මොකක් හරි විදිහකට. Clear? Then monkey size comparison is very important. Here there is a size comparison. Larger than kingfisher. Sorry, larger than Kentish flower. Sorry, larger than Kentish flower. Smaller than a golden flower. Clear? So you can write with the note. You can compare the size with a common bird, common familiar bird to you. Clear? So remember size comparison එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then using this information with the help of a bird guide, you can identify here. Then yes, sir has identified this bird as greater sandflower. It's a winter visitor. That means it's a migratory bird. Got that? So that is how field note should be prepared. Okay, so that's the end. So I took some more time today because to finish this, it took more time. Some of you left, or sometimes your signal problems. It doesn't matter. So did you get anything? How about the meeting? So now you can express your comments. You can unmute your audio, unmute, turn on your video, and you can say anything. Did you get anything? So tell me, do you have the interest to continue bird watching? You can unmute your audio and speak. ඔබට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිනේ? හරිද? You can speak. ඕනනම් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොනවද මේ කියන්නේ? I realize how much I am missing from the nature. Yes. Okay. I really have the interest. It's fun and interesting. I learned a lot about bird today. Need to be more aware. Very useful. I got to know so many interesting things. Okay, and I appreciate the creations. Hari, that's my target. Very interesting. Hope to do it for a long time. That's my target actually. Okay. Hari, then anyhow do bird watching. Clear? So sometimes so we will do such meetings. Actually you should speak. Clear? You should not like a class. Clear? So when I give you time, and also then here today I give you a description actually, therefore I didn't give you time to speak in the middle, because otherwise if I gave you time to speak in the middle, it took more time, then we couldn't finish this. That's why I didn't give you time. But at the end I ask you to speak, then speak, because as I told you, this is not a class, this is a discussion. This should be a discussion. So we should, so if we go in this journey, if you are with me in this journey, we should know each other. Clear? So in future sometimes we may act as a team in conservation. Sometimes I don't know, sometimes you may lose your interest in future and you will give up this, but I will not give up. My passion is conservation, so your passion should be conservation. Okay, those who have real interest, the passion should be conservation. Okay, you may be a doctor, you may be any other lecturer, or any other, you may involve in IT field, or it doesn't matter. So you know some of the most famous conservationists are doctors, some of those are teachers, some of those are engineers actually. Clear? So all haven't done biology even sometimes. Clear? Got that? So therefore try to engage in these activities sometimes. So if you have the interest, we can make a team in future. So it's a long journey actually. It's a long journey even after your A levels, because I continue my journey as a conservationist. So I miss some useful years during past few. I miss most of the important conservation programs during past years, but in future I will again move to the field as a conservationist. Clear? Clear? Got that? That means due to classes, due to private tuition classes, due to school teaching, I missed a lot actually. But in future, I will again move to my field. So it doesn't mean that I stop teaching. I do both of them simultaneously. Okay, therefore, because it's my passion actually. Anyhow, you can select anything if you are with me. So we will see. Then next day we will discuss a different thing. So here if you do bird watching, keep your records. Okay, keep your records. Then on the next meeting, during the next meeting, so after 2 or 3 weeks or once a month, we will have a next meeting. Then let's say in the next month, on December, we will have another meeting. Then you can share your ideas. If you do bird watching during next month, clear, then you will have good records. Clear. Then within the class, we will have a discussion. That is most important thing. Sometimes you may have rare sightings. So then others can also learn. If we do a discussion, clear, after this, then most of you can know. So sometimes some birds are restricted to particular areas. Clear. Others may be not able to identify or look at those or see those birds. So, but when we have a discussion, then others also get that knowledge. Therefore, during next month, do bird watching. As I told you, make field notes. Clear? So do recording. Then on the next meeting, we will have a nice discussion. Clear? On the next meeting, we will have a nice discussion. We got that. Not only bird watching. When you do bird watching, if you find some more interesting things, record those. Clear? So because from those you can learn. You can think as a part of nature. You can be more familiar with the nature. That is most important. Try from your home garden. Start from your home garden. Start from your home garden. Got that? So therefore, today, that's enough, I think. If you have anything to say, you can say now. Otherwise, we will wind up this lesson. We will wind up the meeting today. Like today, we will meet like this after about a few weeks on the next month. Clear? Hari, you can speak anything. Otherwise, good night. We will meet on next day.